Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm bringing to you 7 bittersweet book recommendations. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. The first book that I'm recommending today is The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. The moment I say the name of this book itself, I can hear some of my subscribers screaming because this is one of their most favorite books and also favorite authors. The best thing about this book is that, okay, I'll just tell you what is the plot in kind of a way. We have this young girl named Xiomara who's in high school. She's from this very conservative African American house, and her problem is that she has this aspiration to become a poet, but her mother in home, she's so conservative and she doesn't want girls to do certain things which in the modern world everyone has the right to do and has to do in order to make a living and in order to go and achieve their dreams. Xiomara has this great sense of words using which she writes poems a lot, and she has to attend this poetry class every week. On the same day she has church meetings, and that's the main plot of this book. Yet the emotions that are being conveyed in this book by Elizabeth Acevedo, they are the best. Okay, she has actually written the entire book in verse, so it will be easier to read. You can just read it within a one sitting or so. It's a big book, but it's not a big book. It's a medium-sized book, but you can read it in a single sitting. There are like two kinds of beautiful writing when it comes to me. One is you just read the line, you don't get the entire sense, but you get the emotions from the line and you have to go and read it for the second time. And there's this other kind in which you get everything just on the first read itself, and you just let out this sigh of relief how beautiful this author has written. Elizabeth Acevedo has that kind of a writing style, and I'm sure that if you read this, you'll understand the bittersweetness that's put into this book. The next book that I'm recommending today is The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. In this book, we have a little girl named Liesl. She's not even a young girl, okay? She's a little girl. She's not even 12 or 13 yet. Now, Liesl has this very tragic past in which both her parents have died, and she has also seen her younger brother die in front of her eyes, and she's taken care by her guardians or foster parents in this case, and they are the best parents if you ask me. They are strict to her, yet the relationship between Liesl and her father, it's the most beautiful bond that you can read in many books. Familial bonds, they just grab me and just pluck me in always, and this book did it with me in that sense, especially that father-daughter bond. It was so beautiful. Her mother is so strict to her, yet she has this indomitable love towards Liesl. The best part about this story is that it is narrated from the point of view of death in the time of World War II in Nazi Germany, when the family is trying to hide a Jew in their basement. Just imagine the amount of tension in this book that might be built up just to the scenarios that I said. And also, this is not a fast moving book, okay? It will take a lot of time to read because you're just going to read about the day-to-day life of Liesl, and it might seem like a mundane life, but the risks that are involved in such a life during that period in Nazi Germany, that was so brilliant. And especially the climax of this book is like a glaze of bitterness on a sweet ending, and a story that is narrated by death and ends on a sweet note with the twang of bitterness is something that's so peculiar, and I'm sure that you'll like it when you read it. The next book is A Very Large Expanse of Sea by Tahereh Mafi. Now in this book also it's a young adult contemporary book, but it is not a fluffy read in any sense, okay? This is about Persian girl who lives in America with her parents, and she's Muslim. So there are like certain aspects with the dress she wears, and it's according to her religion and her faith in her religion, and it has been conveyed in the best way by the author in this one. And I should say that if you want to read kind of a sad story but with moments of happiness throughout, then you have to read this book because it is so strange in that sense. But there are certain instances which the main character in the story tries to tell you that you can easily you can just tap into her story and get her emotions very easily. It's bittersweet in that sense. I'll not say that the ending of this is great or there are like excellent moments that are embedded throughout the book, but the entire tone of this book itself is melancholy, but it is sweet in some sense, so I'm recommending this one as a bittersweet book. The next one is actually a series and not just a book. It's the Hunger Games trilogy by Suzanne Collins. I must say that the first two books in this trilogy, that is The Hunger Games and Catching Fire, they are like some of the best books that I've ever read, because once you start reading this series, you'll just want to read more books, because it's written in such a style, and the pacing is just perfect. Okay, for this kind of story, I'm sure that Suzanne Collins must have thought a lot and put her work into it, because this is actually based on just reality shows that are into the future, but they just rise the stakes to such a great level that life or death is actually the competition that people are watching during the time when these books happen. The ending is so not good in my opinion, but many people like the the trilogy as a whole, and I'm sure that there are like multiple moments in which you will be easily able to relate with the characters in this series. And also that ending, it's totally bitter, it's not even sweet for me. For certain people who expect certain shifts to happen throughout by the end of the series, it'll be bittersweet, but for me it was plain bitter. And I love the first two books and I just despised the third book. But if you consider the entire arc or the entire story as a whole, I'll say that this is a very bittersweet story. Next one is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. Now, this is a book which which is like an inspiration from the Black Lives Matter movement. Okay, it came out in like 2015 or 16, I'm not sure when, but during this time, if you're reading this book, you'll be able to understand what are the things that black people are actually facing in America or the world as a whole. The plot of this book is that we have this girl named Star, who lives in this African American settlement in America called Garden Heights. What happens one day is that she goes with her friends to a party, and in that party there are multiple things happening. There's some drug usage and something like that, and the police just come. Everyone just escapes from the party, and Star ends up meeting one of her old friends. He's also black, just like her, and they just try and escape in his car. What happens now is that the police just chase that car, and while they are trying to explain certain things, a cop just shoots Star's friend dead in front of her eyes. And the ripple effects of this murder that has been witnessed by Star, there has been nothing wrong done by her friend, yet he was shot by the police officer, and how this just erupts into a great event or a great problem, and the ripple effects of this problem to Star as well as her community as a whole. It is just portrayed in the best way, if you ask me. The voices of the characters that are the best, because the author herself, being African American, she just has this raw voice for the characters, and it is just perfect in that sense. If you read the story, you'll just love it a lot. Next book is The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. Now, in this book we have two youngsters as usual in any YA novel. The female lead is called Natasha. She is Jamaican American, and we have this male lead called Daniel, who's Korean American. Okay, they are both from different races who are living in America. The thing about this book is that it happens within 24 hours of time. Natasha is in such a condition that she is going to be deported, that is, she is going to leave America to Jamaica the very next day, and Daniel is in that day where he is going to attend like an interview for joining medical school. They just meet this day. Accidentally, Daniel ends up breaking Natasha's phone, and the things that happen in that single day of their life together, especially that day being the last day of Natasha in America, that's just so beautiful. There are like multiple moments of romance that are so pure in this book, and I'm sure that if you read this, you'll be loving it a lot, because there are certain emotions that have been conveyed in this book that are so true and real. We know that it is going to end in this way towards the end. It also has this kind of epilogue at the end, which I don't think is that much necessary, but the bitterness to this story, we know that it's going to happen at the end, but we cannot we can't just let that bitterness at the end ruin all the sweetness in between the story. And I'm sure that if you read this, you will find it bittersweet in every sense. The last one is a book which I think I'm recommending in like every one of my recent videos, mainly because it's City of Bones or the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. Okay, there are like multiple moments of character development, romance, friendship, familial bonds, and everything that I love in this series put together and presented to us as a whole story that is 6 books long, and I think for a person like me, that's more than enough to read. And the bittersweet instants throughout this book are like innumerable, if you ask me. Okay, you'll just feel that this is a really happy moment. At the next page or the next paragraph itself, there will be some things which will be how to say, waiting like horned rhinos in order to just punch you in the gut and tear you open, because it's such a good series. And Bittersweet, towards the end, it's bittersweet in one end. I just liked it. The TV show for this one is also bittersweet, but they are just equal for me. Okay, something bittersweet happens to my favorite characters towards the end. Something bittersweet for my not so favorite characters happens towards the end of the show. I like both of them, but bittersweet, just read this, okay? Okay, that's all for today, and if you did enjoy watching this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. If you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel, because I publish new videos every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.